Hi, I'm Purple Kiwi, and let's tell some personal stories about cheating. So here we are in the future. Excuse me. We are going to be building this barn here. The barn animals and the horses will finally get a home. Hey there, sir. Oh, excuse me there. Yeah, so we don't need Reddit to tell some messy stories about cheating. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first dead point, so what is that, grade 11 or something like that? He was really sweet to me and nice, and he was really passionate for his hobby, singing, which impressed me quite a bit. You know, when someone can swoon you like that, it feels pretty good. So that summer, I had a new job, and I didn't really see my boyfriend that much because I was working all day. This job was a commission only sales job, so that meant that I had to work all day in order to make some money. I wasn't a very good salesperson. I barely made enough, but I did learn a lot. I'm surprised I even stayed at this job for as long as I did, which was, I think, about just as long as the summer. I found out that I was really good with the elderly people, and not because I was trying to take advantage of them, but because I let them talk, and I feel like a lot of elderly people, that's all they want. They're like forgotten by a lot of people, and they just want to talk and have company. So I allowed them to do that. I had another sales job actually, again on the phones though, and I did really well with the elderly because I just let them talk. Anyways, so at this new job, I met a man named, let's call him Josh. He was 24 years old, and again, I was 17, and he paid me a lot of attention. He gave me a lot of compliments. He gave me some tips on how to do the job better. Just paid me a lot of attention. And looking back, it was actually pretty creepy what he was doing. Like, he wasn't just trying to be taking me under his wing kind of thing. He was clearly looking for something else. So he had talked me into hanging out with him at his place, and I did. He was, he was cute. He was into 420, and he seemed really cool because he was, kind of a bad boy in that sense. And he, like I said, he seemed really cool because he was older and he was into all these things that I was not into. I guess, hello, daddy issues, you know what I'm saying? So I came over and we watched the movie Butterfly Effect, and he talked me into having sexy times. I was a virgin, but I did say yes, and the experience was honestly so meh, but at the time I thought it was exciting because, ooh, an older man was into me, you know? But it turns out that experience, along with many more that I would have in the future, I learned that men, for the most part, don't care about the woman's pleasure or happiness. They only care about their own satisfaction. Most. Not all. Don't get all. Don't try to cancel me or nothing. This is my personal experience. Okay, back to the story. So, I continued to hang out with Josh a couple more times after that day, and like I said, he was super cool, so of course I would want to hang out with him. He gave me the attention that I wanted. So one day I was leaving his apartment, and I was on my way to the bus stop, and my boyfriend and his friend were driving in a car, and they came right up beside me and stopped me. I was in shock when he found me because I didn't know he knew where I was. And then all of a sudden, he got out of the car. I was so ashamed that I literally ran away. He chased me and he caught up to me because I am slow. And he wanted to talk. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to talk, so we did, and he took me home. I never begged him to forgive me. I did say sorry. But again, I didn't beg him to stay. He wanted to stay. And I don't know why. He should have definitely taken that as a sign. Looking back on this story, I realized that I was for sure the ass. My boyfriend, he didn't deserve that kind of treatment when all he was good to me. And I feel like I did it because, like I said, I do have daddy issues, that's obvious, but I wanted all the attention, and it didn't matter where it came from because I wanted all of it from anyone and everywhere. And that's a very greedy and selfish kind of thinking. Before this situation, I told my boyfriend that I loved him and he loved me. But this isn't love. If you love someone, you would never do anything that would break their hearts on purpose because you felt some type of way, because you felt insecure and you wanted all this attention. Okay, so our second story today involves my baby daddy and I. We had been dating for over a year, and then we had baby M. We had an open relationship, which meant that we could see and date other people as long as we knew about it, as long as the other person knew when and where things were happening. And that was because trust needed to be established. And we needed to have that open line of communication, which I feel like is much more prevalent or needed in a polyamorous relationship. Now, I found out he was cheating on me when I went through his messages on a website, and I know that I should not have been doing that. Even though I found incriminating evidence, everyone is entitled to their privacy. So anyways, I found these messages on the website, and at the time, I was suffering through a miscarriage when I found these messages. He was supposed to be at band practice, but instead, according to the messages, he was meeting up with this chick that he had been talking to for some time. When I found those messages, I messaged her back. I felt like I was going insane because I was bleeding so heavily, I was freaking out, and I was all alone, and I didn't know what to do because my heart was physically breaking. Now, it turns out there was so many more people that he had cheated on me with that I don't even know who they all were still to this day. And it doesn't matter. We stayed together, especially because we had a baby, which I feel like is the reason that many couples stay together after being cheated on and huge betrayals like this. We do it for the kids. So we tried to get help. We went to a therapist once, but I did not take that seriously. And he told me, after I came home one day after a night of partying with my friends, he told me he wanted to break up, and I felt like I was dying. I had no response other than to cry myself to sleep. And we had a complicated relationship after that. I won't get into it, but we have a much more civilized relationship. We are both okay with each other. We are still in each other's lives. We still do family activities together once in a while. And I'm friends with his current wife. So we have a great co-parenting relationship. I will say he is the best dad I've ever met. He couldn't have asked for a better partner in that sense. He was a truly awful partner for me, but that's just the way things go, I guess. You're just not meant to be, and that's okay. So people always say, once a cheater, always a cheater. And I don't believe in that. My views on cheating have changed. I used to believe that someone who wants to go out and cheat will always find someone to cheat with. Because the who doesn't matter, it's just the act that they're interested in doing. And for the most part, I still believe that. But I used to think that if someone was gonna cheat, why not cheat with someone like me? At least I would also get satisfied. I would get a piece of that cake, even if it was at the expense of someone else, because the person being cheated on wasn't real to me. I never had to interact with them, so it was like they never existed. And then there was no consequences because I never met them. And this way of thinking is very greedy and selfish. And if you don't realize that or know that your actions have consequences and that they affect people, then you're not growing from it, right? And I think as long as you can acknowledge your mistakes and you can grow from it and you use that experience to not stay stagnant in your life and to move forward in your life with more grace, love, and empathy for your fellow humans, you know? There's no point in dwelling in the past and saying, oh, I wish I had done this or I wish I hadn't done that. All I can do now is look at those mistakes that I've made, promise to myself that I won't repeat it, and then learn from it. When you learn from your mistakes, that's growth, and that's what we should all be striving for. So now I'm, almost 40. I'm in my late 30s, and I won't involve myself with someone that I know who is in a monogamous relationship because I know how it feels. I've been on both sides of the coin, and the other person, it's not theoretical. They're a real person. That's a real human being with real feelings, and I don't have to contribute to their sadness in the world. Just like the cheater makes a choice to do something horrible, who think they have no consequences, I can also make a choice to not add to that pain, to not add to that kind of horrible karma in the world, The energy that I put out there, I choose for it to be positive. I choose for it to be more of love and consideration of other people. So those are my two personal stories that are pretty messy, I'd say. And I hope you enjoyed today's story time. So yes, I was the bad guy in that first story, and perhaps my baby daddy cheating on me was my karma for that. I hope that you take from this that we all make mistakes, but we are also capable of changing and learning from that and growing. So, anyways, I hope you all have a good day, good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!